Hey girlies, hey gays, hey theys, and welcome back to Live, Laugh, Love, Lesbian, a podcast for the girls who like girls, for the gays, for the queers, for anybody who is a little bit gay. I am your host, Juliet Taylor, and your lesbian big sister. I'm here to answer your guys' dilemmas, your questions, and read out any stories that you guys have sent in. Thank you all so much for tuning in today, whether this is your first episode or if you've been listening since day one. I love you all equally, and I'm so excited to jump right on into this week's episode with you guys. So guys, how are we doing? I have genuinely missed you all. It's been a week. I was away in Cyprus. I didn't get time to pre-record an episode. I'm very sorry, but I am back. Cyprus was unreal. I had the best time. So we were there for Taylor's auntie's wedding, which was so cute. It was really lovely. I did some little videos of the day for her because they're not very social media-y, so I edited some together and she was obsessed with them. It was so cute. It was definitely interesting going to a wedding. I've not been to many. This was only my third wedding, and the other two I've been to I was a little bit younger. So it's really interesting going to weddings, especially being in a relationship and you're sort of looking and thinking what do I want at my wedding? Would I have similar things? Would I change things up from this wedding? And I also was modelling at a wedding fair before I went away. And you know what I realised about weddings, guys? And wedding fairs in particular? They do not cater to the gays. My goodness. Everything was so straight. Everything. I think because I took a little walk around in my little wedding dress that I was modelling for the day. I took a walk around. I think I saw one picture of two girls kissing. So there was obviously different stall holders there. So there was photographers, there was dress shops, there was people who make things, seat plan things. There was magicians, there was singers, there was literally something there for everyone. There was everything you could possibly need for your wedding there. But every single thing was so straight. Like I said, I think I saw one picture from all the photographers. I think there was one picture of two girls kissing and getting married. Everything was Mr. and Mrs. There was nothing Mr. and Mr., Mrs. and Mrs. And it was just so frustrating to see. I don't know if there's specific wedding shows out there for LGBTQ plus people, but honestly, I came away from that and I was just imagine if you'd gone to that wedding fair and you were so excited to get married, and even the people there, they weren't very inclusive. It was if there was just a girl coming up, they'd be oh, so you and your husband, why are you getting married? And I was what if they're a fucking lesbian? Sorry for swearing. I've kind of got over that hurdle with this podcast. Now I've decided we're going to swear if we feel passionate enough to swear. But do you know what I mean? It was just so uninclusive, and I don't know if that's the same with every wedding fair. I've only been to a couple, and I've only ever modelled, so I don't quite get to really go around and speak to the stall holders and stuff. But yeah, everything was just so straight, and I just thought how sad if you were going there so excited about getting married to your wife, your in a having a gay marriage, and everything was oh, would you like a Mr. and Mrs. sign? And it's well, no, because there's no Mr. at my wedding. It's going to be Mrs. and Mrs. That just really frustrated me. But yeah, the wedding was so lovely. Cyprus was unreal. Actually a really nice time of year to go. It wasn't busy at all, and our villa was just stunning. It was absolutely beautiful. 2-second walk from the beach. We were going into town every night. We were getting different food places to try. There was, I'm saying there was turtles. I didn't see any turtles. I was told there was turtles at these restaurants on the harbour, which is why we were going there every night to try and see them. We never saw them. We went on a boat trip one day, an all-day boat trip. Actually, I was going to say that's the longest I've ever been on a boat. That's a lie. I went on a cruise. But we were on an all-day boat trip, so we had to get up at we had to be at the hotel. The bus was picking us up from at 7:30. We then had to take this bus journey, an hour and a half bus journey to the other side of Paphos to get on the boat, and then basically throughout the day, the boat took you back to where we were staying in Paphos. So it did from one side of the island to the other. It was so fun. We got to go off the boat twice. I really wish they told us they wouldn't provide snorkels, because every other boat snorkel tour I've done, they've provided snorkels. So we didn't take a snorkel. We also forgot the underwater phone case. So I was really depressed because we were getting in the water and I had no underwater phone case to take photos and use the phone to look at what's under the water, and no snorkel. So if there was turtles, I wouldn't have even seen them. But it was really fun. I did get a little bit seasick, which doesn't normally happen, but I was literally laying there like, oh, get me off the boat. That's the one thing about boats, like you're stuck. Like unless you just want to dive into the ocean, which I don't really think is very safe. So yeah, that was interesting, but it was really fun. The stray cats and dogs broke my heart. We only saw one stray dog the whole time I was there, which was good, because I expected to see like thousands of stray dogs and cats. There wasn't too many cats, like there was a lot of cats, but I think it's easier to be a stray cat because cats, you know, like they're used to like going out and fending for themselves, whereas dogs aren't. So on the last day we saw this stray dog, and bless it was like walking in front of cars and stuff. So I've contacted like a local dog shelter. It was a Sunday, so they weren't open, and we were leaving that day. I contacted them being like, there's this dog, and tried to like describe what it looked like and whereabouts it was, and they said they're going to keep an eye out for it and try and, you know, get it into the shelter and find it a home, which made me really happy. And I had a bit of a cry if you've seen my TikTok. It's just, oh, honestly, I just love animals so much, so it just breaks my heart seeing them like out on the streets, and yeah, it was just horrible. But other than that, it was such a nice holiday. I love spending some time with Taylor. Don't know if you guys have seen on my Instagram, but me and Taylor got a photo together. Like, I'm sorry, what? If you know my girlfriend, you know she does not like having her photo taken. I think because it was like, the wedding was like her family member, she'd sort of said, you know, she was mentally prepared for people wanting to take photos of her. Obviously, they were going to do like family photos, and they were going to do like all the girls at the wedding, all the family at the wedding, all everybody at the wedding. So she said she was mentally prepared. So I absolutely pounced upon my moment and made her get some photos with me, and they are so cute. So if you've not seen, go to my Instagram and have a look because they're adorable. And she was taking selfies like with her aunties. She was just willingly getting out the phone and snapping a selfie. It was, I've never seen anything quite like it before. So yeah, go have a look at my Instagram. It's Juliet Francis T, same as my TikTok. It will be linked in the description. Oh, and guys, big update. This is big news. We have made Live, Laugh, Love, Lesbian its very own Instagram account. So I will link it in the description, but you can go and follow us. It's Live, Laugh, Love, Lesbian .podcast on Instagram. And I'm going to be sharing like little clips from the podcast. I'll be posting question of the week things over there. It's just going to be like a nice little space for us all. I might even look at trying to create like a broadcast channel or a group chat, so we can like text in there, we can chat. You guys can, you know, have like, I don't know, maybe if you're in like the group chat, the broadcast channel, you can like help me decide like which question of the week we'll do each week, and we can like have chats about like what you guys want to see on the podcast and stuff. I think that would be really fun. So let me know if you want a broadcast channel or a group chat, and let me know if you think we should create its own TikTok account. I'm trying to be better at filming like visual clips from the podcast, but it's just hard because obviously I just do it at home. I don't have like a what's the word, like a podcast studio. Did look at them, so expensive. Still need to buy my new microphone. That is on the to-do list. Again, they're just so expensive. I am starting to reach out to some brands to sponsor ads on the podcast. So if you're a brand and you would like to sponsor an ad on the podcast, keeping them super duper cheap, but you know, it gives you a chance to have a little shout out and will help me be able to, you know, fund straight back into the podcast to get better setups, better mics and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm trying to film more visual clips from the pod so I can like post them on Instagram and TikTok to get more people like, oh, this looks fun and listening. So let me know if you think a TikTok account would be a good idea. The Instagram, I'm loving it already. I only made it yesterday. But yeah, make sure you go and follow Live, Laugh, Love, Lesbian .podcast over on Instagram. It will also be linked in the description of the podcast. Okay, guys, I think that is all the updates from me. So I think it's time we get straight on into this week's episode. I feel like I'm saying this every week, guys, but genuinely each week, the questions of the week are just getting better and better. So this week's question of the week, I don't know if you've all seen the TikTok trend going around. It's the Chapel Roan song Casual, and it's people saying like casual things me and my partner did before we started dating, but really like none of the things are casual. And it's like, ha ha ha, we actually did nothing casual. We kissed on the first day and then moved in together the next day. So that was my question of the week to you all. What were casual in little bunny ear things you and your partner did before you started dating? These are honestly some of the best answers we've ever had, so let's get straight on into them. So first up we have, our second date was 3 days long. Obsessed. I'm a musical theatre student. They kept taking me on musical dates for months until I said yes. They never lost hope. We also created Spotify playlists about being together, then shared them after we got together. But we've been friends for almost 6 years. So cute. Next one. We matched on Tinder on the 12th of Jan, met on the 14th, met again on the 15th, then spent nearly every day together, made it official on the 24th of Jan, crashed my car with her in it on Valentine's Day. She then went to Australia for like 6 weeks in March. When she came back, we went to a lodge with all her siblings and some of her family members, nearly 2 years going strong. I love that one. I said to them, I was like, if your relationship can survive having a car crash together, it can survive anything. Love that. Next one. We've known each other for a couple of years, decided to have a friends with benefits, started to develop feelings after 3 weeks and admitted we liked each other at Pride, then made it official 2 weeks after that. We tried to be casual at least, but it just didn't work. I love this next one. It just says, slept together. Love it. It's like, we tried to be casual, but we slept together before we made it official. Love it. I feel like that's actually more common than I think people realise. I think it happens quite a lot. So no judgment over here. This next one's also brilliant. Went on a holiday together after 2 weeks of talking to each other. I love that. They weren't even dating. They went on holiday and came back. I think they came back dating. She didn't specify, but when I've looked on their account, I think they came back from holiday dating. How cute is that? Okay, last one for today. I think I've said they're all my favourites, but this one genuinely might take, what's it say? Might take the biscuit. I don't know. I don't know what the saying is. This one might be the winner. We did absolutely nothing casual. She bought me a necklace with her initials on after just a few weeks. I've worn it every day since, and now, finally, I'm her girlfriend. That's so cute. I love it. Guys, thank you so much for sending in your answers to the question of the week. It makes my heart so happy when you guys answer them and get involved. Like I said, from next week's episode, I'll still post them in the normal places, but I'll also be posting them on the Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian Instagram. So make sure you come on over there so you can get involved with answering the questions of the week. If anyone has any question of the week ideas, feel free to send them over and we will absolutely do them for you. Okay, guys, so without further ado, I think it's time we get into your guys' dilemmas, your questions, and your stories. So let's dive straight on into the inbox and see what you guys have sent in this week. Right, BRB just actually tearing up at this first one. I actually might cry. This is literally the nicest dilemma anyone's ever sent in. I love it. So let's read it out. Hey, I love this podcast so much. I found after you posted the first episode, after looking on Spotify for someone talking about something familiar, in brackets, being lesbian. I don't have any lesbian friends, so wanted a podcast to help me in my lesbian journey. I don't have a dilemma, but this podcast feels like my family, and I wanted to tell someone that I figured out this week that I'm demisexual. After reading things about different characters, and this felt like the right place to say it. I haven't told anyone, in brackets, I haven't felt the need to, but I was really excited to figure it out as things just seem to make so much more sense now. Like, I'm sorry, is that not the sweetest thing anyone's ever sent in? Like, wow, that genuinely has touched my heart. Like, I mean it. That is literally, it's the whole reason I created this podcast, is to be like a safe space and a family, and you know, to be the person that people can come and talk to and tell us exactly who they are and be their most authentic self. So genuinely, that means so much that you've found this podcast and you love it so much, and you're, you know, so comfortable telling everyone that you've, you know, like discovered that you're demisexual. We're all really proud of you. We love you so much. And thank you for sending that in. Like, genuinely, that makes me want to cry. That is so lovely. So thank you so much. Okay, next one. My lesbian story is that before me and my girlfriend started dating, we met at work and we used to joke about our future life together all the time, including whether we would have a dog or a cat, what country we would move to, and she would stay after work to walk me home so we could continue talking about this fictional pretend life together. That's so cute. I'd love to know, like, what part of your fictional life came true. Like, did you get a dog or a cat? What type of dog or cat? Like, what country do you live in? I think that's so cute. I love like dreaming about like my life with Taylor, and like we did this a lot at the wedding. We were like, what are we going to do on our wedding day? Like, are we going to have this, or are we going to do it in this country or this country? Like, it's just so fun to like plan your life with someone. So I'm really happy for you. Okay, next one. One thing that isn't spoken about enough is abuse in queer relationships. One time my ex physically assaulted me and tried to SA me. Honestly, people don't realise that girls can be abusive to other girls in a relationship, and I don't think it's spoken about enough at all. So true, and I'm so sorry that you had to, go through this. It's absolutely awful, and like you said, it's not just, a man who can be an abuser. It can literally be anyone. There's no one size fits all to be an abuser. So I'm really sorry that you had to go through that, but I hope you're now, in your healing era, you're on your healing journey, and just know that we are all here for you. We all love you, and yeah, we think that you're amazing, and what happened to you doesn't define you. I hope you know that. So yeah, we love you. Okay, this one is kind of funny because I can kind of relate to this because me and Taylor have definitely been through this before. It says 3 words: lesbian bed death. It's so easy for 2 girls in a relationship to fall into the habit of acting like best friends. How do you make this better and get your sex life back? Like I said, me and Taylor definitely went through a phase of this being us. Like, she is genuinely my best friend. We do everything together. I have other friends, but I wouldn't say like no one is like more of a best friend to me than Taylor. Like, we tell each other everything, we do everything together. I don't like, not like I don't like going out with other people, but I can just be like my full like authentic self around Taylor. I don't feel judged, and I just genuinely love being in her company. So we are best friends, and I think it's important to be best friends with your partner. Obviously, I do think it's important to have other friends and other people that you see outside of your relationship, so you're not constantly together. But I can see how easy it is to fall into the trap of just acting like best friends and, sort of losing that sex life that you used to have. I think it's important to remember that, like, as you progress in a relationship, like, things will change. I think for a lot of people, like, at the very beginning of a relationship, your sex life and your sex drive is a lot higher. But then as you start to get out of the honeymoon phase and, you start to, do things like without each other and you don't spend as much time together and you're like busier, I think it is common for, your sex life and your sex drive to, die down. Maybe you guys just need to like set aside like, one night a week, one night a month, however much you need, like a couple nights a month, one night a week, whatever. Make it like your Friday night thing, and like, you sit down, like you spend some time together, and like you do something like romantic. You go on a romantic date, so you do things that best friends wouldn't do. So maybe you, I don't know, take a romantic stroll in the park. You have like a nice candlelit dinner. Try and do things that you wouldn't do with your friend, with your partner, and then, you can take it up to the bedroom and get up to whatever you want to get up to. I hope that helps. All right, next one. My ex-situationship told me to my face, I love you, but you're not her, and I went back. Oh my God. That is actually so rude. Imagine, oh yeah, I do love you, but like you're not as good as my ex, so like, what do you want me to do with that information? Do you want me to be like, oh yeah, that's totally cool? Like, I mean, obviously you're saying you went back, so there must have been like some connection there to make you want to do that. I'm really glad you put my ex situationship, and you have now hopefully realised that this person is not a good person and you have left them. Like, imagine, I love you, but you're not here. What do you want me to say to that? Oh yeah, great, that's great, thanks. What? That's actually insane, isn't it? But I'm glad that you have, made the decision to leave this person, because you are worth so much more than that. Like, anyone is. If anyone's saying to you, I love you, but you're not her, absolutely boot them out of your life. They do not deserve to have you in it. Like, what? I love you, but you're not her. Ew, grow up. Alrighty, on to the next one. How do you tell your partner that they aren't very fresh down there? Tricky one. Thankfully, I've never been in the situation. I've never received this information in the situation. Thankfully, she's clean down there. But I can imagine it's a very like awkward conversation. Like I have dealt with like smelly people in my life, and it's so awkward, isn't it? Like you don't want to say to them, be like, "Oh, you really smell," because it's rude. Maybe you don't say it. Maybe you don't say, "By the way, your minge is really stinky." I hate the word minge. Why did I just say that? Do you know what I mean? You don't be like, "Oh, your foof stinks. Your lady garden is not clean. It needs trimming. It's fucking stinky." Yeah. Maybe you just like, what are them? Is it like well guard the vitamins? Maybe you're like, "Oh my god, look, I got these on TikTok shop. Like they're meant to be like really good for you. Like, shall we try them together?" Maybe you just like, subtly give hints. You're like, "Oh, I bought us some cranberry juice because that's meant to be good for down there, isn't it?" Or like whatever juice it is. I think it's cranberry juice. Like, "I bought us some cranberry juice, so why don't we like, do you want a glass of cranberry juice? I'm going to have a glass of cranberry juice. I love cranberry juice. Did you know it's really good for keeping like your down there like clean and flushed out?" Or maybe like what, I'm trying to think of other ways that you can keep down there clean. Maybe you could be like, "Oh, I've bought this new soap that's like really good for keeping your foof clean." I think instead of just saying your foof stinks, we try and like introduce like the vitamins, the cranberry juice, the soap, the something to be like, "Oh," I think maybe if you're like, "Oh, I'm going to try this new thing," then they might be like, "Oh, well, if you're doing it, then I'll do it," and then hopefully she will become a little bit more fresh down there. Yeah, it's awkward, isn't it, to have that conversation? Even like if someone's just got like BO, like it's awkward, isn't it, to be like, "You stink." So yeah, I think try and do it like nicely, because it's quite an embarrassing thing as well. Like you don't want to be told, especially by like your partner, like your little, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another name to call it. Your vahoon absolutely stinks and it's gross and it's not clean down there, so I'm not going to go near it. Do you know what I mean? Maybe just like let them down easy. I think that is the way to go. Okay, guys, this next dilemma is giving like something out of a movie. It's brilliant. I love it. So let's get into it. So it's literally started with this. Okay, where to start? That's just the most brilliant start. I love it. So in 2019, I started college to study childhood studies and education. I was almost 17 and I quickly made two friends. For the sake of this story, we'll call them B and R. After a few months of being friends, I stupidly confessed my feelings for R, but they were a little bit older than me and they weren't on the same page and quickly friend-zoned me. Fast forward to 2020, I admitted that I had feelings and fell in love with the other friend B. We dated from December 2021 to May 2022. Then, ironically, got back together around September 2023 until late December 2023. And I had plans to take them away for New Year's, but due to them still being in the closet with not the greatest parents, I wasn't ever truly in love anymore. Long story short, they cheated, so broke off. Yeah, good for you. You shouldn't need to stay with a cheater. Within this time, R moved away down the country, and I hadn't seen them for years, but all of a sudden started reconnecting and messaging, really just sending lesbian TikToks and astrology shit too. We started meeting up just for food and catch-ups as I hadn't seen them since 2021. One day at the start of this year, they messaged me on TikTok not knowing that B and I had broken up for good and decided to make a move and shoot their shot with me and asked me on a date, to which I was severely apprehensive as I was becoming that lesbian bitch who dates one friend, breaks up and then gets with the other. R began taking me on dates to musicals, in brackets I'm a drama student, and after one night they asked if they could make out with me at the train station, to which my reply was, "You can cheek me? You can cheek me? Is that a thing? What does cheek me mean? I don't know, maybe just like, oh, a kiss cheek? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, skip to August 2024, several friendly dates later, and I asked them to be my partner, and now we're very happily in gay lesbian love. But when B and I were dating back in 2023, we planned a trip to London for September this year, with R coming as the original third wheel, almost literally with their wheelchair. I love that, third wheel with their wheelchair. until we had to tell B that R and I were together, and it was awkward to say the least, but it all worked out in the end. So did you all still go on this trip to London together? Imagine how awkward that would have been. Like, you're dating one of them and the other one's there as a third wheel that you also used to date. Imagine how awkward it would have been for B and R to be like, oh yeah, so I used to go out with Carol and now you're going out with Carol. Don't know where Carol came from. Anyway, let's finish it off. B is now happily in a new relationship, and I get to love my best friend and beautiful partner who I loved all along and spend every weekend travelling hours just to see them because I'm needy and a lesbian. That's like the most typical like lesbian thing, isn't it? That's such like a lesbian stereotype that like we just live on trains travelling like hours to see our partners. But it's worth it, isn't it, when you get to see them? That used to be me when Taylor lived at uni in Hertfordshire and I was up in Newcastle. But that had some major benefits because Taylor lived about 20 minutes from the Emirates and Meadow Park. So I would go down on the weekends and we'd go to the football together, which was great fun. But I'm glad this has all worked out for you. I'm glad that, you know, you got to, you know, have your fun with both. But now you got to be with, who did you end up with? R, you ended up with R. Glad that you and R are happily, you know, in love, and B is happy in their new relationship. And yeah, I feel like it's all worked out for the best because I feel like it could have got messy. So I feel like you've been lucky to like skip the drama because definitely it could have got a bit messy if like B and R started talking and they were like, oh, I'm talking to so-and-so, but so are you. And yeah, you've definitely missed a little bit of drama. So you are definitely lucky there. All right, guys, we've got a couple more to get through today. I have loved all these stories and dilemmas and stuff you've sent in today. So next one. I keep watching lesbian thirst trap videos on TikTok, but I'm straight. Do you think I'm bi or a lesbian? You know what? It's funny because TikTok is essentially how I figured out that I was a lesbian, because I was, you know, it was lockdown. Everyone was like making thirst traps. So, you know, there was loads of like male ones on my For You page and I was just like, not interested. Then I started to get the women ones and I was like, oh, hang on a second. This is making me feel some kind of way. And it was the same with like Tinder as well. I had my Tinder set on like, I was going to say, well, you know, males. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just put it on both. Just see what happens. And then every time a man came up, I was like, ew, disgusting. So I changed it to women only, match with Taylor, and the rest is history. So, I mean, I think you can enjoy, you know, looking at women making thirst traps and, you know, still happily be like, straight, but you know, maybe you are bisexual and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you're gonna, you know, realize one day that you're a full-on lesbian. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's how I figured out I was a lesbian, through TikTok and absolutely despising the sight of males on TikTok and Tinder. Yeah, I think, you know, there's nothing wrong with just like enjoying a homeless TikTok. Like, do you know what I mean? You can just sit and watch it and enjoy it and think, yeah, this is fun, she looks fit. But, you know, it might be something more than that, and it's cool either way. So, you know, feel free to keep us updated with this little queer journey of yours if you, you know, have any thoughts, feelings, if you know, need any questions or dilemmas answered. You know, it's the place to be. So, you know, yeah, we're here for you. Okay, guys, last one for today is asking for Halloween date idea suggestions. Now, even though last week I was so excited about Halloween and the Halloween question of the week, which was, you know, your best like lesbian or, you know, gay Halloween costume ideas, like same-sex Halloween costume ideas. Took me a while to get to that thought, didn't it? Wow. But yeah, that was the question of the week last week, and I was so excited about it. Saying that, I actually don't like Halloween. I actually don't like it. I know that's controversial, but it's just not for me. I don't like being scared. I don't like scary movies. I don't like fake blood. I don't like guts and gore. I just don't like it. It's not for me. Like, to be honest, I don't really even dress up anymore. If I'm going, if Halloween falls on a weekday and I'm teaching a dance class, you know, I'll dress up a bit for the kids. But other than that, it's not for me. I'm actually away for Halloween this year with my mum. We're at a pageant that weekend. So I think Halloween's on the Thursday or the Friday. I think whatever day it's on, we're travelling down to the pageant on that day. So we'll probably not do anything for Halloween. But if for all those Halloween lovers out there, I think pumpkin patches are really cute, going like pumpkin picking, and then you can like carve your pumpkins together. I actually asked Taylor if she wanted to do that with me, but she said no because she doesn't like the inside of pumpkins and like how they feel because she's weird. So that's a really cute idea, like pumpkin patch and pumpkin picking, pumpkin carving. If you're not a scaredy cat like me, you could look at going to one of like the like scare fest things. What are they called? You know, like Tully's and Alton Towers Scarefest and stuff like that, where you go. I don't know why, like, I don't know what goes through someone's head to go, I'm going to pay money to go and have creepy people, like, scream, chase, scare me. It's not for me. If it's for you, I'm happy for you. You're a lot braver than me. I went to York Dungeons a few years ago and just cried. I literally walked in the entrance and I cried. It was horrible. It was the worst experience of my life. You couldn't pay me enough money to go and do something like that again. I hated it. So I could not think of anything worse than going to like a scare farm, scare fest, whatever they're called. Just literally paying people to scream at me and scare me. I would just cry the whole time. I would literally cry the whole time. Can't watch horror movies, can't do anything that involves like jump scares and scary things. It's just not for me. But yeah, if you're brave, maybe like going to something like that would be cute, especially if maybe like one of you's like a little bit braver than the other and the other one's going to be a bit like scared. It's going to be like clinging on to you and be like, you need to hold my hand. Best I would be like wrapped around Taylor with my eyes closed. Like she would just have to drag me through and I would just, it would be awful. It would be my worst nightmare. But I feel like they're two cute ideas. Like go to a pumpkin patch, pick a pumpkin and carve it together. You could do like a little competition, like who can carve the best pumpkin, or go into a scare fest thing. You could make like cute like Halloween like cocktails or like cookie decorating. You know, people do it at Christmas, like gingerbread houses. You could do something like Halloween. That could be really cute. There we go. There's 3 fun lesbian. I mean, even if you're not lesbian, you can still do them with your partner. So there's 3 fun Halloween date ideas. Guys, I just remembered I forgot to say this at the start, but the other day it was International Coming Out Day. So happy International Coming Out Day to all those who celebrate. I loved seeing everyone's posts. Probably should have like done a post, but I was on holiday so I didn't. But yeah, hopefully everyone felt loved and supported on that day. Saw so many cute posts. There's something else I was going to tell you all and I forgot now. Oh my god, I remembered. So if you don't know already, you know I love my women's football. You know I do. And Newcastle women only went and beat Sunderland women at the weekend. I'm gutted I couldn't be there. Like, literally, I was so sad because nothing brings a Geordie more satisfaction than beating Sunderland. How insane, especially because Sunderland have been in that league for a couple of seasons and Newcastle have literally just got into that league. So for them to beat Sunderland was massive. Was there anything else that I forgot to update you all on? I forgot. I made notes on things that I was going to tell you all. So I just looked at my notes and was like, oh my god, I remembered coming out day. Football update. Jonas. See you later. I was going to say he's retired. He's not retired. He's left, hasn't he? I mean, I think he had to. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Arsenal Women's Football Club manager and head coach. I think they're the same thing. I don't really know. Jonas Adeval has stepped away. He's walked away from his role. I mean, he bloody needed to. Like, the team were doing shit. I mean, that's probably a bit rude, actually. They weren't. But, like, they were not playing as well as they can or they have in the past. And I think everyone was like, yeah, he needs to go. They need to bring someone, like, fresh in to, you know, give the girls, like, the boost that they need. So, thankfully, he is gone. We don't have a new manager as of yet. So, hopefully, they'll announce someone cool soon. I've seen people saying Casey Stoney, who I think used to be the manager of San Diego Wave. Could be wrong, could be lying to you. I think it's that club. I'm sure she used to play for Arsenal when she was younger as well. So that would be cute. When I saw someone putting like options of who, it was like an Instagram post, it's like, who could the next Arsenal women's manager be? And Gareth Southgate was on there. I mean, you know, he was an old England manager. He'd probably do really well, but it made me laugh seeing like Gareth Southgate on there. That was funny. Someone put Ian Wright for manager, and I think, you know what, he has such like a passion for the women's game. Like, anyone who like talks down on it, he literally comes at you with the facts, and he's like, you literally can't talk shit about it because it's so good. Like, the women's football like community is like breaking down barriers every day. It's breaking records. Also, the Newcastle Sunderland match, broke the record for like the highest attendance at a women's championship match, and it was away. It was at the Stadium of Shite. Oh, sorry, I meant to say light. Funny joke. But all the Geordies are saying that record's going to be like completely smashed when they play at St James's Park, so that will be exciting. I'm hoping I can be there, but I'm a busy gal. I'm a busy gal. Right, guys. I think that's all my updates. If I've missed anything, I'll just update you guys next week. So anyway, thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. You guys make my week every week when I open my podcast app and I see that there's been new downloads. When I have you guys answering the question of the week, it makes my heart leap for joy. And when I open Google Forms and there are new dilemmas and questions and stories, genuinely, I do a little happy dance, because it means the world that you guys are, getting involved with the podcast and you're sending stuff in, especially like the first, I was going to say dilemma, it wasn't dilemma, like the first sort of story that we had sent in today, just honestly makes me so happy that you guys are loving this podcast as much as I am. So make sure you're following my TikTok and Instagram, Juliet Francis T, and make sure you're following Live Laugh Love Lesbian podcast on Instagram. Everything will be linked in the description of the podcast. Make sure you are following along though, because every week I'll post questions of the week and I want you guys to get involved with them. Send me any question of the week ideas, and of course send me your dilemmas, your questions and your stories onto the Google form, which will be linked in the description. Have an amazing week, and I will see you all next week for next week's episode. Oh, and next week's episode, it might be the week after, but I'm in talks with 2 really exciting guests. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears peeled for our exciting guests. I will speak to you all next week. Love you all so much. Bye!